host, our generous host, with whose leadership the great KANU party, who granted us permission to come to this wonderful country of Kenya, are coming to. Rise, please, ladies and gentlemen, before we rise to welcome the party chairman, Mr. Honorable Gideon Moi.
Thank you. The former president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, head of Department of Sub-Saharan Africa in Berlin Conrad Foundation, Dr. Stefan Friedrich, the Secretary General and Executive Director of the International Democracy Union, Ms. Tina Marsep, the Chairperson of the Democracy Union of Africa, Ms. Louisa Atta Anyemang, Head of Department for Sub-Saharan Africa, Conrad Dr. Stefan Friedrich, Deputy Minister of Transport, Republic of South Africa, and National Spokesman of the Inkatha Freedom Party, Honorable Muhu Lenkwa, government officials, political party leaders, Honorable Justin Muturi, who was our former Attorney General and Speaker of the National Assembly of Kenya and leader of the Democratic Party. And of course, I'd like to recognize too the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Faith Odhiambo. Ordinarily, I would begin by saying, Karibu Kenya. Welcome to Kenya. But after spending the last 2 days here, sampling our cuisine, soaking in the vibrancy of Nairobi, and perhaps even braving its infamous traffic, I suspect that greeting has become something of a cliche. So let me instead say it in the authentic Kalenjin language where I belong, Ogasole Omega, feel at home. And indeed, here in Kenya, you are at home. It gives me great joy on behalf of the Kenya African National Union and the people of Kenya to welcome you all to this year's Democracy Union of Africa Forum. This forum is a gathering of conviction, of purpose, of shared ideals about the future we want for our continent. The Doha Forum has evolved into one of Africa's most consequential spaces for dialogue and collaboration. It is here that noble ideas converge, continental partnerships are forged, and the pathway for Africa's democratic and economic renewal is carved. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is no longer defined by a single dominant power, but by many centers of influence. In the multipolar reality, Africa must not be a spectator, but a strategic player by asserting its interests, redefining its partnerships, and shaping the terms of engagement. This means pursuing cooperation that is equitable, partnerships that are mutually beneficial, and alliances that respect the sovereignty and aspiration of African nations. We must here today at a time of great change, we meet here today at a time of great change and admittedly great uncertainty. Across the world, we are witnessing the rise of radical populism, that exploits division, the resurgence of extreme nationalism that thrives on fear, and the erosion of democratic values that once bound nations together. Yet this moment also presents an extraordinary opportunity, an opportunity for center-right movements such as ours to demonstrate that democracy, liberty, and economic prosperity are not competing ideals, but complementary pillars of a just society. At its heart, the center-right philosophy is about balance between freedom and responsibility, between the market and the state, between individual ambition and collective well-being. It is about building bridges, not walls, creating opportunity, not dependency, and advancing prosperity that leaves no one behind. What the Kenya African National Union when the Kenya African National Union formally joined the Democracy Union of Africa, and by extension, the International Democracy Union, we did so with a deep conviction that Africa's destiny lies in open societies, strong institutions, and market-driven economies, anchored on individual liberty and national unity. That is why we are immensely proud and deeply honored that Doha chose Nairobi to host this year's forum. On behalf of KANU and the people of Kenya, allow me to express our profound gratitude to you, Madam Chairperson, Louisa, and your able team for the vote of confidence. As we engage over the next few days, let us reimagine our position as a continent in a multipolar world, build alliances that advance our collective interests, partnerships that invest in our people, cooperation that value our resources, and relations empower our institutions. To claim its rightful place, Africa must move from a beneficiary of global goodwill to a co-architect of global progress. However, our deliberations must not end within these walls. For all the eloquent speeches and well-crafted resolutions, what matters most is what we do after this forum. The practical steps we take to translate our shared values into visible action. Let this not be just another conference of ideas, but a launchpad for implementation, where discussions evolve into policy, and policy into transformation that our citizens can touch, feel, and live. In that spirit, I once again welcome you to Kenya, to Nairobi. Asanteni sana na musikie muko mnyumbani. Thank you. I would now like to, with your permission, Chairperson, to invite Honorable Justice Muturi to give us a few words. Justice Muturi, make a few remarks.